So this report is coming to you from Lviv in western Ukraine, not far from the Polish border. John and I are here for our last 2 days of ministry issues questions that need to be resolved, starting with the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. We receive intelligence reports from them which facilitate our travels in the war zone securely as possible. So we need to be in touch with them continuously as the military intelligence that is needed for relatively safe movement in the war zone comes from them. We also will be discussing various issues with the Ministry of Social Politics, and the minister sits on the committee with President Zelensky. And we've already had one contact, but we are continuing to develop that because we have a point of mutual interest with them. There are about 10 million refugees that suffer from the post-trauma syndrome at this point in time, and most of them, of course, are the people that have fled their homes, who have lost pretty well everything you can lose, in a material sense, but also in a relational sense, losing their husbands, their sons at war. Obviously, whole villages have been wiped out. So we will be addressing the issue of post-trauma syndrome from a biblical point of view. Psalm 23 is an excellent piece of God's psychiatry for all of us who may be traveling through life's worst storms. You can navigate through that, and God is saying through that psalm to every single Ukrainian that has had to flee, that I am the shepherd of your souls, and I will take care of you in your darkest of valleys. I will be there for you, with you, and I will see you through it. I will restore your soul, no matter how broken you have become. And I am your shepherd who promises to be on the lookout for the very best for you. That's what we're going to have in that book. Inside Ukraine, we want to print several 100,000 of these books to be distributed to people that desperately do need them. And the other thing that we'll be doing here in Lviv is we'll be talking with the border people as well, because they facilitate the delivery of humanitarian aid across the border into Ukraine. At this point in time, what we're dealing with issues, for example, 2 trucks have been donated to the Ukrainians and through our ministry, Great Commission Meeting Ministries. So we will be transporting those trucks to the border, across the border, and into the hands of those who need them. At the same time, we may mention that we have already sent in 2 transport trucks full of school furniture for places like Bucha, which was the site of the most horrific massacre that took place last year when the Russians initially invaded Ukraine and left behind just carnage, suffering of horrific magnitude, unimaginable acts of violence that were committed by them on local peoples. So in that particular area of Bucha, we have also started to deliver humanitarian aid to the schools, especially. We also will anticipate on having fire departments and emergency services donate slightly used or even more used vehicles that they will now be upgrading. In other words, they'll be buying new equipment, and they may want to donate their old equipment to Ukraine. We will be facilitating that. So we need to be in very close contact with the border services to make sure that the transport of these vehicles, as they come through, as the donations come through, that there will be no holdup and things will work smoothly. Ukraine has been bombed throughout the country, but very heavily in East Ukraine. Fire departments have lost their equipment. Emergency services have lost their equipment. And they are dependent upon the West to get replacements. So that is something that we also want to be facilitating, in addition to our ministry, which is the gospel and the healing power of the Word of God for every person's life. That is, of course, our main emphasis. It will always be, because we have been called to be ministers of the Word, and at the same time we have been called to love our neighbors as ourselves and to be good Samaritans, like Jesus said in his parable. May God bless you, and we thank you for your prayers. We certainly need those prayers. That God will protect us and all the teams that we work with as we travel and as they travel along the front lines in the war zones, delivering aid and also preaching the gospel, not only to the civilian population, but also to soldiers And we do have a great relationship with the soldiers along those front lines. May God bless you. Thank you for your prayers and thank you for your support, which is really very, very much needed. That need has not diminished and it has not gone away. May God bless you.